This week, our reporter Cian Bexley was assaulted by a leftist activist while he was covering the United We Roll pro-pipeline convoy in Ottawa. Cian had done great work covering the convoy all across Canada. They were now at their final destination, Parliament Hill, at a rally that featured many members of Parliament. Not surprisingly, it being Ottawa and being outdoors, there were some professional protesters on hand too. But it was Parliament Hill, the most policed square mile in Canada, so everything should have been fine. Cian covered the official speeches by the United We Roll folks, but as we do at The Rebel, we like to cover what the critics say, often just because they're so inarticulate. It's sort of amazing. I always like interviewing protesters because they usually don't know why they're there, other than they were told to show up and hold this sign to collect their $50 or whatever. So Cian was amongst the Antifa, just asking them their views. And he was talking to one guy, the guy with the aviator glasses you'll see on the left of your screen in a moment, when some other thug sneaked up on him and just hit him. Take a look.
Can you tell me why you're here? Hey! Get that guy! Get the police! That guy just assaulted me. He just threw my phone on the ground and smacked my arm, and my phone's busted. Out of here.
He just hit him. Now, obviously, it didn't deeply hurt Cian, but it's shocking, and it damaged his phone, and more to the point, it's an assault, because some leftist thug didn't like what Cian had to say, or what Cian had to think, or for whatever reason, or for no reason. And instead of heckling Cian, or debating him, or ignoring him, he punched him. And the cops, you saw, they just did nothing. In fact, worse than nothing, Cian told me the police, who were standing right there, feet away, said to him that if he wanted to make a complaint, he should call the police department. But they were right there. But they couldn't care less. Gee, I wonder where those leftist protesters get the idea that they can punch a reporter and get away with it. Now, if Cian were a CBC reporter, if he were a Liberal reporter, do you think the police would have ignored it? We don't know, because I have never seen a Liberal reporter attacked in Canada before, have you? And I don't want to see it. I'm just saying it never happens. But there's an urban prank these days. It's very obscene. But it's just an insult. When some people see a reporter reporting live somewhere, some pranksters rush up to them and swear at them in the microphone and then run away. It's obviously rude. It's a bit of an internet fad all across North America. It's done by both men and women to both male and female reporters. Like I say, it's really just the shock of a live journalist being sworn at on TV. But it's not violence. And that's the worst thing I can think of that's happened to a Liberal reporter in Canada. And by the way, police actually lay charges in those cases. Charges! Usually because the media company in question makes such a fuss about it, like the CBC. One guy actually lost his job with Ontario Hydro, not for doing that swearing prank, not for swearing himself, but for laughing when another guy did it. That's how thin-skinned Liberal journalists are. Every year in Canada, someone is charged with this fake crime of swearing on camera. It's rude, but it is not an assault. Now, they usually let go, but journalists pretend it's this great free speech fight or something. So that's if you're a Liberal. But if you're a conservative journalist, well, it's becoming a weekly thing. Cian was attacked this week. A couple of weeks ago, 2 other Rebel journalists were attacked. Again, they weren't beaten to a pulp. I don't think they were hurt. But so what? You can't just punch anyone. You can't punch a journalist. You can't punch anyone. I guess, unless it's a conservative journalist, I suppose. Swear in the vicinity of a Liberal reporter in that weird internet prank. It's not even actually swearing at the reporter. It's swearing sexually on live TV. That's the obscene gag of it. Just swearing gets a big investigation and a criminal charge. But actually hitting a guy, if he's conservative, nothing. Here, take a look at what a manager of the Radisson Hotel, Toronto East, did to David Menzies and our cameraman, Efron, earlier this month.
Okay, it's private property.
Oh, okay then. Would you like to come on camera?
No, I would not. I would like you off our property right now. I'd like you to stop taking my picture.
Hey, excuse me.
Take the picture. Hey. Get your rebel crap news out of here right now.
Why is it rebel crap news, sir?
Get out off of private property. I'll call the police.
Good, and you'll be charged with assault for what you just did.
Sir, you can't punch people. Our reporters were lawfully on that property. That Radisson manager then asked them to leave, and they were about to leave. Menzies even started to say he was going to leave, but before the manager even finished his sentence, he just punched David and Efren and punched our camera gear. So that's 3 rebel journalists assaulted in 3 weeks. And of course, it's not the first time. The worst, when some male feminist named Dion Buse hit our Sheila Gunn Reid at a women's march, no less.
Go away. Get out of my face. I will break your camera. You do not have the right to...
Whoa! Guys, stop. Let's calm down. Calm down.
You don't have the right to film me everywhere you go.
Yes, she does. Just like
Yeah, I do. You just hit me in the face.
If Sheila were a Liberal reporter for the CBC, not only would hate crimes charges have been filed against that thug, but Sheila herself would be the new feminist hero of Canada, a woman who was obviously attacked for her strong point of view by a man who was so insecure he couldn't deal with a woman who was smarter than him. Sheila would have won awards. She'd be offered a professor gig at a journalism school. She'd be a hero. But instead, the CBC actually took the side of that thug in their news reports, trying to humanize him and paint him as the victim. In the end, Dion Buse, that male feminist, was convicted. But because of a court error, he got off with just a slap on the wrist. So we sued him in civil court for more than a year. And we finally got justice in the form of this court ruling. Here, let me read to you from the judge who upheld our lawsuit against that male feminist Dion Buse. I'm quoting here. In a free and democratic society, people, including the media, should be able to attend public events and say what they wish without fear of having themselves or their property threatened or physically abused. The fundamental freedom of the media, as provided for in the Charter, guarantees that the media shall have the freedom to report and provide opinion with respect to such public events as the Women's March. To seek to curtail the media's right to report and opine on the event, such as Buse did here, was unacceptable, and his resort to physical violence against a member of the media qualifies as high-handed, malicious, arbitrary, or highly reprehensible misconduct that departs to a marked degree from ordinary standards of decent behavior. It is conduct that, by any reasonable standard, is deserving of full condemnation and punishment. Let me read just one more line. Mr. Buse is entitled to his political views, and the plaintiff and the rebel are entitled to their political views. Mr. Buse, however, was not entitled to commit assault and battery because his political views differed from those of the plaintiff or the rebel. So we did that. Now, it cost us more than $30,000 in legal fees. Buse had to pay Sheila just $3,500, and for the rest of his life, he'll be known as the cowardly male feminist who hits women. And I bought the website, dionbuse.com, that will forever point to that video until he actually apologizes to Sheila, which that little coward hasn't done yet. So dionbuse.com stays up. So back to Kian and David and Efren, our cameraman. I'm pleased to say that this morning, we filed a new lawsuit in the Ontario Superior Court of Justice against the Radisson Toronto East Hotel and their manager, David Strong, on behalf of our employees, David and Efren. We're not suing for millions. We know that they weren't wounded for life. The money isn't even the point. We're suing for just $10,000 each, a total of $20,000. We'll pay far more than that in legal fees. We are suing to make the point. You can't hit people. Even if you disagree with them, you can't do that whether you're a person or a multi-billion-dollar corporation like Radisson. We'll post that lawsuit online so you can read it. Why are we doing this? Why are we spending more on a lawsuit than we will ever win? Well, because the police haven't laid charges against that manager at the Radisson. David and Efren went to the police station and they filed a report with police. And the police said they'd send someone over to the Radisson. Yeah, they'll send someone by to caution that manager. Is that how it works now? So if you swear on TV in front of the liberal media, the police will charge you with an actual crime. And in the case of that one guy, you'll actually be fired from your public service job if you just laugh at it. But punch two guys? Well, the police might pop by and say, hey, cool it, maybe switch to decaf. Yeah, no, that's not enough. We're doing this for justice. We're doing this to teach the Radisson and its manager that they cannot do that with impunity. And we're doing it to send a message to the rest of the world too. If you touch our people, we will sue you. Even if it takes years like it did with Dion Buse. Even if it costs us $30,000 like it did with Dion Buse. We will have justice for our people. And so this morning we sued the Radisson and their manager, and today I am asking you, our viewers, to help me identify the Antifa thug who hit Kian in Ottawa. Now I'm going to put this video on YouTube, this one I'm describing right now. I'm going to email this out widely so we can get as many people as possible helping us to find the thug. That's how we found Dion Buse. We didn't know his name. We posted the video online and offered a bounty. And his friends turned him in almost immediately. Actually, one of his family members did too. So I am hereby offering a $500 reward for the first person who identifies that little thug who hit Kian. We'll keep your identity confidential if you give us the tip. Now, don't take the law into your own hands. No vigilantism, please. Just tell us who he is and we'll do the rest. We'll put him to the law as we did with Dion Buse. Here's what's amazing, and it shows how brazen this thug was. He hit Kian. He sort of sneaked up on Kian. Kian was talking to someone looking to his left, and the thug came up to him and hit him on his right when Kian wasn't even looking. Talk about a coward, even more cowardly than Dion Buse, actually. But this Ottawa thug who hit Kian, when he was looking that way, he realized that Kian didn't actually see him. So the thug came back and actually taunted Kian. But Kian didn't even know it was the same guy until later when we all sat down and went through the video footage frame by frame. Can you believe that? Here, take a look.
As you can see, this guy, he's been really obsessed with me, and he's been putting this flag in front of my face. We're filing a report with the police, and I'm going to keep you guys posted as the day goes on.
That was the guy. Not just that, but we went through all our footage, and this same guy was giving a hassle to our David Menzies, who was there too. He didn't hit Menzies, but he tried to block our cameras. Take a look.
So yeah, they talk a mean game, but when it comes to walking the walk, not so much. They always love. I also love this part where we try to. Sir, would you like to? Sir, would you like to say what you wanted to say to me, or just stick your sign in the camera?
I'm just going to stick my sign in your camera, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can't articulate your point?
Not to you.
Okay. Well, I guess I win the debate then. If you can't say while you're here, I guess you don't even know why you're here then, sir.
You can see there were cops everywhere there. This guy had hit Kian. And he was fine. The cops didn't take him away. And he obviously knows and hates the rebel. He knew Kian. He knew David Menzies. Just like Dion Buse, the male feminist in Edmonton. Just like that Radisson hotel manager who called us rebel crap news or whatever that means. This thug in Ottawa obviously recognized Kian and David and harassed both of them. And maybe heckling and harassing is fine. I mean, I don't care. We're not like the CBC. We're not going to run to have police arrest people for swearing at us like the CBC does. But then to hit Kian, to hit him, and to sneak up on, not even to hit him, look him in the eye and hit him, but to sneak up on him. Yeah, no, we're going to court over that. So this is him. This is him, two slightly different perspectives. That's who hit Kian in Ottawa, cops 5 feet away. So he's probably from Ottawa. He seemed to be someone who protests a lot. That's just a sense I have. He seems to be political. He obviously knew who the rebel was and our personalities. My suspicion is that he's probably some public sector union thug who protests every day. And when he saw our rebel people, he wanted to do more than just protest. He wanted to punch a conservative. Not on my watch. No. So please help me do two things. Please look at this man, and if you know who he is, please send me an email to tips tips@therebel.media. tips@therebel.media. We'll keep your identity confidential. If you are the first person to positively ID this man, I will pay you $500. But don't take the law into your own hands. We'll take it from there. We're putting this video I'm recording right now, we're putting the full video up at findthethug.com. Findthethug.com. So feel free to share this news that way. So that's the first thing. Help me find thethug.com. The second thing I need your help with is to pay for the lawyers. Like I say, if Sheila were a liberal, and if David and Efren and Kian were liberals, not only would they not have been attacked, but if they were attacked, police would have taken care of everything. But they didn't charge the Radisson manager. And they were right there, and they didn't lift a finger in Ottawa. They was feet away from them. So we have to pay for our own justice. Like I said, the lawsuit for Sheila cost us more than $30,000, and she was only awarded $3,500. It obviously was not about the money, and neither is this. It's about defending our people, defending conservative journalists and conservative citizens, and our right to stand in the public. It's about standing up to bullies and leftist thugs and letting the world know that if you come for the rebel, we'll come for justice. And by the way, David, Efren, and Kian did not ask me to do this. They did not ask me to sue. I am choosing to do this because I am grateful to them for suffering an attack just for being a rebel journalist. I'm doing this for them because it is right. So go to findthethug.com, and while you're there, you can also read a copy of our lawsuit filed today against the Radisson and their manager. And I've also posted a copy of the court judgment against Dion Buse, which was a win for us, but a costly win at $30,000, actually $32,000. I'm going to need $500 to pay the bounty to identify this thug because the police don't plan to investigate. And then I'm going to need at least 30 grand to sue him and 30 grand to sue the Radisson. I'm sorry, that's just how much lawyers are for a whole trial. Do you think that's me being wasteful with our viewers' money? Do you think that's a luxury? Do you think I should just spend that on staff or equipment instead? Do you think it's being wasteful? I don't. It's my way of saying to Kian and David and Efren that I value them and that I respect them, and I want to treat them in this circumstance how I would want to be treated if I myself were assaulted by a left-wing thug. I was furious with what happened to Sheila, but I think she knows that we had her back. That's my goal here today, $60,500. $500 for the bounty, $30,000 apiece to sue these thugs. If you can help me cover these legal bills, please do. As you know, we don't get a dime from the government like the CBC. We're not taking the $595 million bailout like the other media. It's just you. We're 100% viewer supported. I promise to keep you updated on this case, on both of them. This is part of the price of being a conservative in Canada. I'm sorry, it just is. But I think we have to pay that price. If you think so too, and if you want to help us, please go to findthethug.com. Help us find that thug and help me get justice for Kian, David, and Efren. Thank you. I'm furious that thugs punched 3 of our rebel journalists just for the sin of them being conservative. But I don't want to have vigilante justice. I want the law to tell them they were wrong. Please help me find the thug who punched Kian, and please help me sue all of them by going to findthethug.com. Thank you.